Hello friends, thank you so much for joining me. I'm Mel and I'm a storyteller and picture maker from Melbourne, Australia. I'm also a collector of quiet moments, a sniffer of flowers, and deeply, incurably curious about a great many things. Consider this an open letter to whoever first told us curiosity killed the cat. I suspect they underestimated the intelligence of cats. One thing is for certain, it wasn't for our own good that we were dissuaded from being too inquisitive. Fairy tales tried very hard to teach me that good girls don't ask questions. Fortunately, I didn't listen. Bluebeard and Red Riding Hood tells us that female disobedience comes with terrible consequences. And yet, Red burst herself from the belly of a wolf. The wife almost lost her head, emphasis on almost. Imagine the stories they could tell of their survival and sheer badassery. Yes, blessed indeed are the curious, for they shall have adventures. Maybe though, like me, you enjoy some of your adventures vicariously. Prefer to leave the swashbuckling to some other heroine and read about them instead. Is it important to be curious then? Friends, I want you to know something. Nurturing, chasing, and cultivating your curiosity is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. The best part about it? You can start right now. Chances are, if you're keeping me company today, you're a creative person. Creative people are problem solvers. We're resilient. This is good because we have to be. It's no surprise that the most celebrated creative minds in human history were also those who dared ask questions, to dream, to imagine a different reality. When asked, "Why did you paint a couch in the middle of the jungle?" Henri Rousseau replied, "Because one has a right to paint one's dreams." Rousseau was 49 when he retired from his job as a toll collector. He did not shuffle off quietly into irrelevance. He'd been side hustling it as a painter, and this was his opportunity to start a new chapter as a full-time artist. How incredible to think he had such an influence on the art world in just a few decades. Rousseau died in 1903. By the late 20s, he posthumously became the inspiration for the Surrealists, an art movement dedicated to painting dreams. Today, he is recognised as one of the godfathers of modern art. Not too shabby for a self-taught late bloomer who himself claimed he had no teacher other than nature. I vividly remember sitting cross-legged on the floor of my bedroom at 8 years old, reading my encyclopedias. Rousseau's Sleeping Gypsy was on one of the covers, and curiosity demanded it needed further investigating. I thought his landscapes were strange and wild, like peering into someone's thoughts at midnight. There was a nameless something in them that called to me in a voice deeply alluring and delicious. Maybe it's not surprising this echo of a painter long dead ignited something in me. In his lifetime, critics claim Rousseau painted like a child. Honestly, what does that even mean? That's a kettle of worms for another time. I think what the critics didn't understand is that Rousseau painted with the same curiosity and joy that children paint. The pure way of creating that adult artists try to get back to. Almost 30 years later, I still don't think there's any motivation more noble or honest when we're called to create. To paint one's dreams, to create our own maps, to feel the fear of doing this and do it anyway. Satisfying your curiosity need not be grandiose, require a laboratory full of stuff, or necessitate you writing grants for government money. I'm not suggesting you hasten to the place where they sell aeroplanes and make like Amelia Earhart. There are so many ways of testing and sating our curiosity, and some of them allow us to remain right where we are without any need to change out of our pajamas. Real talk now. I want to ask you, what ignites you? What feeds your brain and heart at the same time? When did you see or hear a thing, maybe even unexpectedly, and you wanted more of it? Bookworms will understand this. Have you ever let the hours slip you by? So consumed are you in your tumble down the rabbit hole that when you finally tear your eyes away, you don't recognize your surroundings. I think curiosity is just another word for the fabled Muse, for the joy of creation. The problem is, so many of us don't recognize her when she calls. Maybe you watched someone making candles the other day and you idly thought, that looks satisfying, maybe you could learn too. Or maybe a friend made you a sandwich so sublime you made embarrassing noises and did a little dribble on yourself for the joy of eating. Or maybe you see me having a nice time with pencils and you want to know, how did I draw that mushroom? Friend, that is your curiosity calling you to ask for the recipe, to do the Google thing, to test it for yourself. You might decide cooking isn't for you, and that's okay. Sometimes we have to go there and back to see how far it is. Your curiosity is telling you she wants something to do. Listen to her. She is calling you to create. There's no prerequisites, reading list, or uniform required to join the Curiosity Club. Bring an open mind and hands ready to play. You also don't need to share your journey with anybody. This can be just for you. I will say, in my experience as a folklore nerd, some of the most interesting things I've learned inexplicably bore the socks off everyone else. That more people don't know the chaotic awesomeness of Baba Yaga and her chicken leg house is a tragedy. But there you are. I have learned some satisfactions are best savoured solo. Following your curiosity can be a quiet, meditative experience. It might quite literally start with you wondering if you can stand on your head. I can't without help, but I do highly recommend yoga. It's very cheering for a busy mind. Rest assured, curiosity is not a race. You don't need to chase it all at once. You make the rules. You're allowed to chip away at your curiosity project, however slowly or imperfectly you're able. Curiosity doesn't cut off at a particular birthday. You're not too old. You deserve to feel a sense of purpose. You have time. I think this is also a good time to assert that for some brains, too much curiosity can be its own problem. Like all things, moderation is key, and your inner compass is the best teacher to guide you as to how much is too much. Have I convinced you to bake that pie, to take that short course in herpetology, to go hiking with that friend who keeps inviting you? Or do you just want to know why? Why should we bother being curious? Because the world is vast. Because our time on this planet is fleeting and we have the responsibility to savor it. Because our time on this planet is long and we have the right to enjoy it. Because who knows what paths we might travel if we follow in the wake of curiosity. It might change our lives. It might change our days just enough to inject them with hope, with joy, with patience. Thank you so much for your company, friends. However you travel, down a ladder with a crash hat or a glorious reckless freefall, I wish you all the joy in your trip down the rabbit hole. Curiosity is the spark behind the spark of every great idea. The future belongs to the curious. So I'll see you in the future, friends. Can't wait to hear all about your adventures.